I need to say two things. One, to my 4-year-old daughter in the back, that's all fake. People are always really nice to each other. It's important that you know that. The second thing I have to say is, ladies and gentlemen, the great Pam Grier.
Well, I'm exhausted. Going down that memory lane. Yeah, the first 5 films I did was for tuition, by the way. The Big Dollhouse and The Big Birdcage, all the Roger Corman films. I was inspired by seeing the first film that just shook me was Godzilla, when I was yay big, and from then on, I think I was so moved when my mom would come home and she would say, I saw this film called Hallelujah, a King Vidor film. And she said, I connected to it. And I said, you know, Mom, that's fantastic. I was so moved by this award because King Vidor, if you look at his work, he brought flavor. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Interracial, minorities, he was passionate about his work, as I have been passionate about my work. And one of the reasons why I came here, and Andrew Davis, who I worked with him in Above the Law and The Package, and he is one of the people who make films that reflect who we are. Films are our lives. We are films. And I wanted to come here and thank you for not only supporting my career for, it's 50 years, it's 50 years. King Vidor, his career was 7 decades of being a director, reflecting our communities, sharing and teaching. 70, that's 7. I don't know if I'm gonna make it at the rate I've been going. However, but I wanted to thank you for supporting my career and supporting the film industry, for inspiring filmmakers who reflect our lives, who have narratives that often we cannot go to various communities and express ourselves, but in film we share and we bring that compassion, we bring passion to our work. And I was lucky to have seen quite a bit of King Vidor's work. And when I saw his version of War and Peace with Audrey Hepburn and Henry Fonda, I realized I didn't have to finish the book. I haven't finished it yet. And I can tell you the Russians, they lost the war because they didn't have good boots. And they ate their horses. So with that said, I so loved and will continue to love his work, and I'm hoping that all of you are here, we continue to inspire filmmakers who are 10 years old, 12, 13, and I know there might be a child in here or children. I always respect children because I don't like to curse in front of them and say, you know, fuck, shit, and damn, and them see my breasts up on the screen. So, with that said, I was inspired to write and direct segments of my life, and that I was inspired by Roger Corman, who did want me to read The Actor Prepares by Konstantin Stanislavski, and I did raise the bar of those B movies, and it was like Chekhov with a wet t-shirt. Because there really was no such thing as a B movie. And he said no matter how small the role is, it is acting, and it is our humanity. And it gave me the confidence to reveal a lot of painful things about my life to my work, and share that with others, and so that others could feel comfortable in sharing their narratives. And many of them are quite painful, but yet give us hope and an insight, and reminds of us of our humanity every day. So with all of you here loving films, I can see 3 and 4 films a day. It's sad, but it's true, because I learn so much, and I hope to be a profound director and writer as King was, and I'll be called Queen. Queen Grier. They call me Mama G anyway, but I just want to thank you so very, very much for this honor. It will go right beside my bed next to Quentin and Martin Scorsese's picture and Steven Seagal's picture before he became a Russian. So thank you again very, very much.
There we are. We're in business.
Dueling. And I won't drop it. I promise they'll bill you for it.
So, I read your book, Foxy, My Life in 3 Acts. That is a book. I mean, a lot of people. I've read a lot of biographies of stars, and they're not all so candid. They're not all so honest.
Then it is not a piece of you. It is not an autobiography. Right. And I wanted to be that profound as much as I've seen. And I must admit, I was, through seeing films and documentaries, it helped me to gather the courage to talk about some very serious issues that are now in today's front pages and narratives in our industry and in society regarding abuse, regarding why you talk about issues that I had gone through. And in Foxy, I was attacked when I was 6 years old, sexually attacked, and it traumatized me. I didn't speak. I was very much in a place where only my grandfather's draft horse in Cheyenne, Wyoming helped me speak again. And I was able to talk about it, and then I was attacked again at 18, which I couldn't believe it was happening again. And then the third attack forced me to take a job with Roger Corman because I had turned it down. I was in film school. I wanted to get into UCLA Film School, and I was working 3 jobs, and I didn't want to leave them to become an actor, which I didn't know how to do or become. So after the 3rd attack, I went back to Roger Corman through John Gaines at APA. And I said, is that job available? Because I want to take it now after I turned it down, and I want to go somewhere and become a woman and find out who I am. And that's that 3rd attack is the reason I'm here and able to have the confidence in, as in Stanislavski, you bring a lot of your real soul to your work. And it's therapy. And a lot cheaper.
You didn't, look, the first time you're 6 years old, and these are family members and older kids, and
Yes.
you didn't talk about it, what 6-year-old would. You didn't talk about it again at 18. Talking about it makes a difference.
It does, and if one would consider all of the issues, all of the many people have gone through so many different situations, and they all are different. My silence was due to the fact that I love my family more, and if I had revealed any of those attacks to my family, my grandfather, Daddy Ray, who's probably going to be hopefully played by Jamie Foxx in the film, and Jay Farrow play Richard Pryor, but these are men that taught us girls how to hunt, fish, and shoot, drive the tractor, bring the boat in. We're country girls from Wyoming.
Yeah, this is not an outfit you've put on. This is Pam Grier. This is how you are.
Yes, it is. I clean up nicely though for movies. I know how to do it. Put on a weave, eyelashes, to go for the whole thing. So anyway, but my grandfather, my uncles, and my cousins, and the men in my family would have gone after and harmed people possibly, or been harmed and gone to prison. So I didn't tell anyone because I love my family more. And so that's why I had silence, and because I love them and I protected them. So many, I guess, situations could be very similar. And after they have all passed away, most of my family, I was able to talk about it. However, my mama, Coffee, when she heard about the attacks and the issues, she was ready to get up and go get her gun. And it hurt her very much, but she understood that I protected my family. I needed my family more.
So I want to talk about that first job. So your agent.
No, please.
So your agent, David Baumgarten, right?
Yeah, David
Right, so-
Baumgarten, Marty Klein, and John Gaines.
So this is what he tells you about taking that. First of all, your 3 jobs at the time. You were a receptionist, right, at the agency at APA, and then in the evening you were a receptionist for AIP. That's essentially Roger Corman's company, right?
Right,
and
exactly.
And then after that, you had a job as a DJ.
As a DJ, yeah.
And you wanted to be a waitress, but they told you you weren't pretty enough.
I know. What can I tell you?
That's great. So then this is what your agent says in
Because
describe.
I wore raggedy student clothes. You're a starving college student. What was I wearing? I was wearing Timberlands, Levi's, and a flannel shirt in a restaurant, right? It's not going to work.
Yeah, I guarantee you were pretty enough. Okay, so this is for the Big Dollhouse, and your agent says, quote, it's about women in prison in the jungle, bondage, torture, attempted escape, punishment, drug addiction, machine guns, sex, the usual.
The usual.
Sure. And you said, what? I'll do it if I can have my old job back as a receptionist afterwards.
Yes, I went back to my receptionist job, and I was in accounting at a drugstore on the weekend, and I also worked in a mortuary. A students, California. So yes, after each film, I went back to my 9 to 5.
So-
and they said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at work." And they said, "Well, did we get you that job as an agent?" I said, "No, I just, I'm here doing accounting. I'm here at the mortuary, or I'm doing something." They said, "Well, get out of there. You're a movie star now. You're an actress." So I'm like, making $600 a week. I'll take it. So yeah, I went back to humbly, because I didn't want to spend all the money earned. I really wanted to get into film school.
So I just like the idea of you sitting in a meeting with Roger Corman. He's offering you this job at $500 or $600 a week, and you're like, "Okay, I'll do it, but here's my condition." Afterwards,
I negotiate well.
yeah, totally. You drive a hard bargain.
But let me tell you, I went back to work, and they were saying, I said, that money I made during the film, it's for my savings, it's for my education. It's really important, because I don't think I'll be a good actress. I'm not pretty enough, and I don't know. I can't continue doing these wet T-shirt movies in the jungle. The bugs bite and the cobras scare me. What can I tell you?
How many movies did you shoot in the Philippines?
4.
4.
Black Mama, White Mama was the last one, and then I told them I was quitting. And next thing you know, Roger Corman said, "We can't let Pam quit. She's really good." Stanislavski said, the richness of the work, okay, short of drawing blood when you fire the gun, okay, slap the bitch. So I slapped the bitch.
I'm not an actor.
Well, he didn't actually say slap the bitch, but do the work. Well, what does that mean?
I don't remember. Now, is it Stanislavski or the method that like to have mud wrestling in every movie? I forget. I can't.
You're gonna wrestle in mud, okay? And it feels good too, by the way. If you all should try it when your marriage gets a little dry. That hot oil and mud wrestling, let me tell you. But it does get in your mouth, and I was concerned that when it was in the Philippines, you were in the rice paddies, there were leeches, parasites, bacteria, and probably some poop. So I was kind of scared, because SOS, stank on what? You smell it too, and we all did. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I made my tuition to get me through a year, and I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't see any future in mud wrestling. I'm sorry. I was lanky, built like a, spider.
So there are. You could talk about so many things with you. There are 4 stories that I want to make sure that we get to. And I don't know where to start.
I told you.
I want to know about you almost running down Federico Fellini with a horse. I want to know about you getting kicked out of the Troubadour with John Lennon. Yeah. I want to know about you turning down lunch with Paul Newman. Yeah. And Quentin Tarantino essentially walking up to you in the middle of traffic in his car. So let's go with, shall we start with Fellini?
You want to hear about Federico Fellini?
So
that's what you studied Bertolucci and Fellini and Truffaut in film school. I was okay. Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I like Italian names.
What were the peculiar circumstances of you meeting Fellini?
Oh my goodness!
Was it a meeting? Did you have lunch?
It turned out to be Amen Corner when we got through, but I was shooting a film. For some of Roger's film friends, and called The Arena, and Cinecittà, which is the Universal Studio in Rome, Italy, and
where they shot Cleopatra.
Yes, and Dino De Laurentiis was one of the founders of that studio. It was great. I was this international, star. She's American, she's this American hero, superstar. I'm like, no, not really, if you look at my background, but they build me up so wonderfully. And it was now, instead of Roger Corman in the jungle, I was now, Roger Corman as a gladiator killing people and saving my life. When the Romans were trying to kill me, I was this bushwoman, an African bushwoman, where, you know, I was used to squatting and showering, and I'm sure it shocked everyone when here Stanislavski appeared in my training, that if I'm a bushwoman showering among the other gladiator women, that why would I cover up myself? So I didn't, and I turned towards the camera and they all fainted, you know, because I had shaved.
Is this part in the book? Because I would have noticed that part. I think I would have. I didn't.
Bush women don't shave. They just kind of, you know, we nurse our babies and wear beads and, you know, squat. And so anyway, so I'm on this horse, since I've been riding horses since I was 6 years old, my family's draft horse. I was given, you ride a horse, Pamela? Yes, I do. Well, we give you this, Donatella. He's a stallion. He's big and black and hungry, and there are female mare in heat, and he's going after them with me on his back, and here I have this fake leopard skin. My fro is nice and, you know, pat, and not really any tack and sandals, and not really a saddle. So when you know, after the 3-hour lunch that Italian crew members take, they swatted the back of Donatello, and I had all the other actors on the stunt horses behind me, and he took off. And I'm going,
with you on it?
With me on his back. He spooked. And I'm very familiar with horses, and you have to run off their energy for 15 minutes. So I said, okay, I got 10 more to go. And so now he's running all over Chinachita, and there's this big backdrop. And I'm going, oh no, I can't. And I'm like this. My boobs, I have on no bra. My fro is flopping. I'm hanging onto this black stallion, riding all over the place. People are waving and screaming at me. He said, don't scream, don't scream. You scare him, you scare him. Stop, stop. And I'm like trying to, you know, not be killed on this horse. And then there's this backdrop. It's getting closer and closer, and I can't stop him. He's so powerful. And I'm going, oh my God, we're going to hit it. We're going to go right through it. And so there's a crack when we get like 20 feet away. And I say, oh, okay, I'm going to try to get him to turn through this crack so we don't hit it. And next thing I know, I see this cardboard blue waves and water. I'm going, oh my God, there's a crew and a camera, and we're coming out, and I look around, there's this ocean liner, and there's like, oh, shit. And it's Fellini saying, my fantasy has come true. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope they don't cut me out. Oh my God. And literally, Donatello, he slowed down, hit the brakes, and I flew off over his head. Next thing you know, there's all these people staring at me, all these Enzos, and looking at me, saying, "Are you okay, Pamela?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." He says, "Fellini, he wants to take you to lunch." And Steve Carver says, "She just had lunch for 3 hours. It's Fellini. He wants to talk to her." Oh God. If I don't talk to him, you'll be deported. Okay, so I get up, I put my breast back underneath the skins, I limp over to him, we go to the commissary, and there's all of his crew and his people, Pamela, Fellini, and then Steve Carver said, "Pam, we got to get to work. We didn't get a shot today. Everyone takes lunch all goddamn day." And so I'm going, okay, but it's Fellini. It's Fellini. I says, "Pamela, you from America?" "Yes, I am." He says, "I love a chicken. I went to Harlem and I had the fried chicken." And I go, "Okay. I just had lunch. I don't really want any more chicken." He says, "But hey, I teach you how to make a red sauce and white sauce. If you teach me how to make a fried chicken." Okay, I will, if you don't put me in jail. I'm so sorry for ruining your shot. I will teach you how to make, fried chicken. And so he says, oh, come in through the kitchen. So he literally runs the commissary. When he comes in, he's the king. He gets his way. Anything, it's amazing. They have their garden. They don't have chickens. We don't have a chicken. We have, what do you call it, pigeon. It's squab, but pigeon. I'm going, oh, God. And little tiny legs like this. I'm going, okay. So they said, okay, Pamela, here it is. I said, it's a double dip. Double dip. And then all his Enzos are writing notes, on the double deep. So he's, okay, so you dip it in buttermilk and then flour and then buttermilk, flour, and then you fry it in olive oil. Okay. So there's a pile of these lovely little tiny legs, and he picks it up and he's like this. Oh, it's good. It's fried chicken. I said, it's the garlic. Put garlic in it. And so I taught him how to make fried chicken, and every year he sent me a birthday card until he passed away.
So I presumed that all happened late. That all happened that day?
Yes, it did. That day, after I almost died, I'm making fried chicken. I'm going to make it for Fellini, but that's what all the kids who in film school talked about was his work. Armacord and Bertolucci and so we were inspired by that.
Sure.
And when I told people that, I made fried chicken for him and how to make red sauce, it was like, you met Fellini?
Do you still make red sauce the Fellini way?
Yes, I do.
All right.
It's all about the wine. This is wine country. I could move here. Yes, sirree. Okay, and then with the
John Lennon.
Oh my God. Oh, my life. I don't know how I made it this long. I am one of the Oscar girls with Victoria Principal, and we bring out the statuettes.
This is like 1974?
Yes.
David Niven is the host?
And Jack Haley Jr. is one of the executive producers. Marty Pacetto is the director.
Jack Haley Jr. married Liza.
Liza Minnelli. And Vincent Minnelli directed, I think it was Wizard of Oz. Wasn't it Wizard of Oz?
Vincent Minnelli did not direct
okay,
Wizard of Oz.
What he did, Cabin in the Sky?
The Star is Born? Cabin in the Sky, he did. Yeah,
he did. I remember the cab.
With an all-black cast, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so Jack Haley didn't know that I had been attacked, and I didn't like to be in groups where there was a lot of men, people I didn't know. So I have this very shy, maybe not shy, just cautious. And so he said, Pam, we have a break right now. Why don't, hey,
this
John,
is during a rehearsal.
This is rehearsal of the Oscars. And so he said, the Smothers Brothers are having a comeback gig tonight at the Troubadour. And I'm going, okay.
Troubadour is like a West Hollywood music club, the hippest one.
Yeah, where Breakthrough, the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, you would have Carole King. You would
big
have
stars would come, sometimes even unannounced. They would come and play.
Yes, jam sessions, a fabulous place. So I said, well, no, Jack, I won't go, thank you. Victoria was seeing her husband for lunch and for the break, and I said, no. They said, well, it's all of. I said, but this is all men. I don't think I'll feel comfortable. So thank you. He says, no, Pam, I want you to come. I want you to be around these people, meet these people. You're a star. You need to meet these people. Oh, okay. So we got in this limo, and it's Peter Lawford, Jack Haley Jr., Harry Nilsson, John Lennon, and myself in this limousine. John Lennon. Forget everybody else. It's John Lennon.
Real quick, but hold on. But so these people understand, obviously John Lennon means a lot to just about every American in 1974. But you were a musician, you were a singer, you'd been a backup singer. That's sort of your beginning of your career, but you'd sung as a teenager too.
Well, sidebar. Back in Denver, I was in a gospel group called the Echoes of Youth, and half of it was Earth, Wind, and Fire. Philip Bailey, Andrew Woolfolk, and Larry Dunn. That's the way of the world. Yeah, and so we go into the club, and we're sitting in the back on this high up elevated seating area for VIPs. And so Harry Nilsson and John Lennon are sitting across from me, and we're sitting at this table right on the railing, and then here's Marty Pasela, Peter Lawford, and everybody sitting behind us, and I'm going, Peter Lawford? Are these me? Wow. So they're tossing down drinks. Drink round, John Lennon's ordering, I'm going to drink. He says, here, Pam, I'm going to drink. So we're drinking. I'm drinking screwdrivers, and I can't drink gin. I'll start fights. I can't have the juniper. It's just toxic to my brain. And so everyone's drinking, having a good time. And they already had a good time before they showed up at the rehearsal. So John says, so Pam, I'm going, yes. And he's John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and I'm just, and Harry Nilsson, Nielsen, and he's a wonderful songwriter, prolific poet, and so I'm from the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, all the way to, Emerson, Lake and Palmer to James Brown. So I have a wide cross section of music that I like. So John says, Pam, I heard this song, and it's called Something About the Rain on my window pane. I said, oh. He says, I love that song. I really want to sing that song. It just moved me. I said, it's by Ann Peebles, and it's called I Can't Stand the Rain. He says, yeah. So I started singing it, and I go, I can't stand the rain on my window, brings back those memories. I can't stand the rain on my window, yeah. It bring back those memories when we were together. Go ahead, amen corner, hey. And so John starts singing, and he starts banging on the table. Boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden, people look over at us. They see John Lennon, nobody else. They stand up and go berserk. And John says, come on, everybody, start singing along. So the whole audience starts singing. Now, the Smothers Brothers are cowering in their dressing room. They don't want to fucking come out. Because it says John Lennon. I said, John Lennon is singing at our concert? Oh, my God. So so John is singing over and over and over again, and we're harmonizing. He says, harmonize, you take the high, take the low. And so now we're going to do an album. I'm going to do an album with John Lennon, and Harry Nilsson. So, okay, the lights go down. Okay, everybody, shh. The Smothers Brothers, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. Smothers Brothers, they come out with their, with their bass and the guitar, and they're, trying to look all cool and hip and stuff. And they haven't been out of the house for, years. And so they get on stage and they go, hey, and here's our, the John Lennon, ladies and gentlemen, everyone applauds for him. So John says, everyone says, John, be quiet. He says, okay, I'll be quiet. So they start their banter and they start their singing. And then all of a sudden, John goes, they're fucking boring. Come on, Pam. I can't stand the rain. John. Everyone, John, be quiet. You wouldn't want them to do that to you. And he says, oh, yeah, they're fucking boring. I can't stand the rain. I'm going, oh, news at 11. I'm going to get thrown out of here with all these white men. I'm in such trouble. And so finally the manager comes up and said, John, please be quick. John, don't do that. And so the Smothers Brothers say, hey, John, come on down and sing with us. And everybody's trying to encourage him. No, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. You'll never have a show again. You'll be his backup. So John says, hey, man, okay, I'll be good. I won't say anything. And so the manager says, okay, you better not. And so next thing you know, John goes, as soon as the man turns around, John, I can't stand the rain. I'm just like, he's a troublemaker. Next thing you know, the manager turns around, grabs John by the collar, pulls him over the railing, and Harry Nilsson tries to grab his legs. Next you know, John Lennon is punching him in the face, and Harry Nilsson's punching in the face, and all of a sudden the table is thrown, and there's people throwing punches. Now, I started my career throwing punches, and now I throw skillets, but this was ridiculous. Right. Next thing you know, we sitting on the curb with the LAPD. with the limousine outside. They taking pictures. My nails are broken. My hair is a mess. And we being interrogated before we go back to rehearsal with me and all these white boys. It was horrible. It was horrible.
In two things in John Lennon's defense. He was incredibly drunk.
Yeah.
Now, I want to...
But he sent me flowers and a card, which I have framed. He said he thanked me for not beating him up.
Yeah, he said...
I have the cards, handwritten by him.
I've seen it. You can find it on the internet. It's
I have it hidden in my underwear drawer. No one can find it.
It's a very, very nice card. He said, I'm so sorry.
And I talked him into, I thought he was really homesick and he should go back to Yoko. And he said how much he cared for her. And I said, I wish I had someone like that cared for me.
Yeah, so before he got incredibly drunk and belligerent, you guys had a really meaningful conversation.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And that was it, because you could tell he was heartbroken and he wanted to be home. He really did. And then what was the next one?
We got...
Paul Newman.
So we saw the first clip in the montage was you in Fort Apache, the Bronx. So this leads to the Paul Newman story. How did you get that role?
Oh, there's funnier ones.
This is a good one. This is a good acting
really
one.
Good. This is a really good acting one. They had looked at a lot of actors, models, actresses, and they couldn't find someone who could actually play a drug-addicted hooker.
Sure.
And so my agent said, David Susskind, Paul Newman, and Dan Petrie, the director, are really, up against the wall. They want to start, and they just haven't found anyone to play that role. And it's a scary role. It was a frightening role to play Charlotte. And so they said, we want to test you. We'll fly you into New York. You will? Crap. Okay, but we want you to test. And I was to work with Paul Newman. Now there's two roles: the nurse, Rachel, or you can play the killer. And I said, well, the meaty role is the killer, but it's not as many days. I said, I don't care. It's about the work, but I don't. If all those actresses who are well known couldn't achieve that level of work, I don't know if I can do it either.
So I didn't get that. So they had already looked at people. They were struggling to find the right actors.
They were looking at everybody, and I don't know if I think I was at the time working with Larry Riley and Knots Landing, and I couldn't leave or test, and I went, oh goodness. Okay, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of Paul Newman. So I said, let me do the research first. And if I can't do it, and if it frightens me, the script is scary, I'm gonna have nightmares, then I'll go home if I can't do it. I don't want to disappoint Paul Newman. And I went to New York, stayed at the Wyndham Hotel. And Miguel Pinheiro, who was a playwright who passed away too soon, I said, Miguel, I got to do the research, and I got to see junkies, and I got to see shooting galleries, and I got to see, the women servicing their johns on 9th and 10th Avenue, and I don't know how or where I'm going to. He said, I'll take you around. I was hoping he wouldn't say that.
Right.
And I could go home with my sanity intact. And so he says, no, I'll take you. So we went out, we had a letter in our pocket, so if we got knifed or killed or shot, we could send the body back home, and Susskind they would pay for it. And so I just said, okay, I could see why a lot of actresses did not reach that level or didn't want to come in, because it was frightening. There were times where I thought for sure we're going to get killed, knifed, hurt. I was observing a woman servicing a john in a car, and she approached me, and I thought she's going to, okay, this is it. And she was selling. I said, excuse me, I just wanted, I'm doing research, and And she said, oh, you're a student. I said, yes, I'm a student. And she says, well, I'm a student too. I'm in college, and this is how I pay for it, and I'm a mother. And like, oh.
She said, like, sometimes I make $2,000 a day.
She made more than that.
Yeah.
She paid off her mortgage and her college tuition, but she got out of the business because this, it helped her. And she gave me some insight of what to do and what not to do and how to be careful. And I was like, oh, this research, I don't know. This is a little hard for me. So I said, okay. After Miguel took me around, I had compiled images and heartache and puke and needles and drugs and stuff in a shooting gallery that had a menu on the wall, like hypodermics, $1.50, syringe, $1, all kinds of things. And if you want drugs, ask the manager. And I'm going, holy shit! And there's businessmen with suits and briefcases and people of all walks of life sitting on mattresses and chairs. And I was like, oh God, okay. This is it. This is the real deal. And I looked at footage, and I just did this research, and I didn't sleep for 3 days. And I looked at dark circles, and I said, okay, I want to clear the room. I'm going to do a monologue of all furniture, just clear it. I'm going to eat nothing but cherry pie and drink coffee and stay up for 3 or 4 days. And I cut up a skirt very short, and I went on somewhere near 42nd Avenue where you can buy stripper clothes. And I bought red stockings and a garter belt and some Hello Sailor dress and some Fuck Me pumps. And y'all know what, see, y'all testifying. And a blonde wig and a Disney baseball jacket that had Mickey Mouse on the back. And I suited up. I was ready to go to the meeting, my audition.
You had to get out of the hotel first.
At the hotel. And in the elevator of the Wyndham Hotel, as I got on the elevator, I get in, there's this woman in there, and she sees me, she goes, oh! And I'm this, garish, blonde, short, red stockings, dress, skirt, baseball jacket, and I'm going, oh, it's Carol Burnett. Oh, Carol, I love you so much. She took me out of my wall. Oh, I loved your work. Although she says, oh, okay. She started pushing buttons, and she got off the next floor. And I said, this is working. Okay. So as I walked through the lobby, the manager went, because he told me where to go to find the clothes and stuff. And I said, I'm here for an audition. I'm really trying, and I don't know anything about New York. I don't know anything. So he says, so here, go there, go there. He should have been RuPaul, because I really needed him to get this together here. And so I start walking down Avenue Americas to the theater, and people are looking, and men are whistling, "Mira, mira, órale," and the police are following me and say, "Hey, baby, I want to see you." No, I'm researching a movie. I'm going to have a screen test, and no, I'm not a real hooker. And they were trying to pick me up.
So you walked
I walked
10
down
blocks
the street
to the audition dressed like that.
Yes,
Right.
I did. To the, I think it's the Mankiewicz Theater. That's right, and that's where they were having the auditions. And I just walked down the street to see if it was working. And it was working. I could have made some money on the way.
Sure.
Quite a bit. I could have at least bought a new truck. So, without being picked up or knifed, I do get to the first level and the receptionist, and I say, "Hi, I'm Pam Grier," and she said, and the sister said, "Oh no, you ain't." I'm going, "Oh, I got to fight this bitch to get upstairs." I said, I am. Call up. It's David Susskind Ponoma. She says, "Oh, okay." So she's looking me up and down. I'm gonna smack her when I come out of here with this job. So she says, "Oh, go on up there on this floor." And I'm going, "Okay." And she said, and she looked at me, and she's like, "Look at this bitch." I said, "Yeah, you wish you looked like this." And so I go up the elevator, and another receptionist. They're all these receptionists. And so I said, "I'm Pam Grier," and You know, I mean, so my work is, I've been preparing. I've been Charlotte since I left the hotel, and I don't want to talk to the police, and I don't want to talk to reception. And so I said, you know, I'm in the moment.
You're Charlotte.
I'm in the moment. I'm walking down the street with no underwear on. I am in the moment. And so just with a garter belt, you know, I'm like, oh, this is how they do it. So Woody Gould, who wrote Fort Apache, the Bronx, opens the door, and he says, Pam, how are you? How was your flight? I said, shut up, motherfucker. Let's just do this fucking shit, you know, so I can go home. And he goes, ooh, okay, she's ready. So he's scooting over, and so Paul Newman gets up. I said, sit your ass down. David Susskind, yeah, let's just do this scene. You know, this is killing me to be this hole for so long. I've been a hole for 4 days, and it's absolutely killing me. You know, and so they said, okay, so they're like, okay, all right, so let's start it. So Woody Gould starts reading, you know, the script, and I said, oh, put the damn script down. He starts, and so I walk over to him, and I have compiled all of my scenes into a monologue, which is what you learn when you are working and writing or anything that's going to create your Bible of your character. So I go over to him and I sit on his lap, and I start rubbing him and stuff, and like he was like, yeah, he can't remember the dialogue, and I'm saying the dialogue for him, and then so I go through the whole scene, and Paul Newman's going, oh my God, you know, so I said, it's working, get this show, oh my God. So we do the scene, finish the scene, Woody drops, he can't remember anything. I said, just put the damn play. So I do it, and then I shoot up, and I fall, I die, and I fall on the floor, and I don't have on underwear, so Sharon Tate, what is it, Sharon? Sharon, what's her name?
Stone.
I'll beat her to the punch. You know, and this time I didn't shave. And so I slump on the floor, I die with the needle in my, you know, arm. And so all of a sudden they start applauding. And Paul Newman said, you got the job.
Right then.
And I woke up from my, like, really? I didn't disappoint him.
You never met him, right?
Never met him.
So you get up, you're like, oh, it's great to meet you, I'm a really big fan.
Paul Newman, come on. David Susskind, Daniel Petrie, and his son played the blonde cop. He became, all his family became, Dorothea was one of the producers of it, and they said, you got the role. And I said, well, can I call my mom and tell her? It's the first thing I asked. And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, can I go home? Yeah. Well, we're starting tomorrow. Tomorrow I have to be a hole for how many, 10 more weeks? It's gonna kill me. And so I said, well, we'll send you home so you can bring more clothes and come back, and we'll start when you get back. And I couldn't believe that they were applauding and saying it was the best performance that they had seen. And that's a part of the work. I didn't even know. And Pauline Kael said, I was so scary, I stole all the scenes. But when you don't wear any panties, you will steal the scenes.
That's a funny line, but you're selling yourself short.
But I also, it prepared me to do Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune, the Terrence McNally play. And I saw Kathy Bates do it at the Manhattan Theater Club in New York. And when she turned around and she showed herself, I went, oh, again? I have to do this? But on stage, in front of all these people, I'm going to have to, Johnny has to show his behind and pull up his boxer shorts, and I roll out of bed, and I have to, again. I thought they wore fat suits or naked suits, and they said, no, you will be naked on stage. 8 shows a week. Matinees when people are eating their tuna fish sandwiches and unwrapping them, doing the matinee, and you're going to hear belching and farting doing the performance. I'm like, and it went on for 9 months, and I loved every bit of it. Terrence McNally came to see me in the play, and I was most honored.
You did that in Los Angeles, right?
In San Diego.
In San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I know some people might have questions, but I want to get one last question for you, and
they're exhausted.
They got to go, and by the way, there'll be a little intermission after we're done talking, which is going to happen momentarily, and then you can see Jackie Brown, which does lead into this question. So you have never met Quentin Tarantino. You didn't even 100% couldn't pick him out of a lineup, right? I mean, he's a director. It's 1997 or 6, probably 5, maybe even then. You're driving in the valley in Los Angeles with a guy you're dating.
Yeah, sadly.
And there's a guy gesticulating to an attractive woman on the street corner.
Yeah,
and
he
you're
was
in traffic.
macking.
He was what?
He was macking.
He was macking? Oh, he, all right.
Macking.
So this guy, this weird-looking dude, is making out with a woman on the corner, and you're in traffic, and he sees you. What happens?
Well, I won't name the, at the time, boyfriend who is not driving. I was driving. He says, oh, he says, that's Quentin Tarantino. And I went, really? On the street in shorts, barefoot with a T-shirt? Really? And he said, yeah, that's him. I hear he's writing a screenplay, a movie for you. I went, oh, come on. You're just trying to get in bed with me, aren't you? You're just saying that, you know. There's no way. And so he says, no, he really is. I said, I didn't hear about it. Well, you live in Colorado, okay? You ain't going to hear about that much. I said, but he spoke of me in Reservoir Dogs. And I remember people jumping up and screaming, saying, ah, there she is, there she is. Like, you know, yeah. And I loved it. And I went, and Pulp Fiction, I'm going, no, really? He says, yeah, let me call him over here. No. He called him over anyway. And so he says, hey, Quentin, hi. I'm so-and-so and so-and-so. You know, I'm clever. I'm so-and-so and so-and-so. And here's Pam Grier. And Quentin goes, Pam. He came around. He says, no, Pam, you know how much I love you? And I'm going, no. I've seen all your movies. I have all your posters. And he, you know how he rapid fire.
And also, meanwhile, he's in the middle of the street barefoot.
Everyone is just stopping because some people recognize him, but, you know, traffic is not going anywhere. It's L.A. And so we're sitting there, and he said, no, I'm really writing a movie. He says, oh, well, thank you. He says, based on a movie, right? Elmore Leonard, Rum Punch. And so I'm going to send it to you when I finish. And I'm going, okay. And it's like, wow, really? I said, yeah, okay, sure. Go ahead, write something for me, yeah. And so it shows up with 44 cents due on the envelope.
Months, like 6 months later, right?
And I'm going, it can't be him. It can't be him. 44 cents, and so the post office, I'm in New York. I don't know what I'm doing in New York. And New York want every penny. In Colorado, they say, hey, tape it and we'll get it later. But they wanted it. They weren't going to give me that package until I put 44 cents on the thing for them to have. When I did, it showed Tarantino. I went, really? Opened it. And I was afraid to read it because he had kept his promise. And there it was in my hand. I said, Jackie Brown. And he had a note in it, and I saved it. It's in my office on the wall. And it says, when you read this, please call me. Well, this is now 3 weeks later. He's sweating. He said he's about to give up. He's about to shelve it. And he said, Pam didn't like it. It's been 3 weeks.
And Robert De Niro, Michael Keaton, Sam Jackson already cast.
They're already cast. Everything's cast but me, because I'm like, I didn't read the note. I'm slow. I thought it was for the Bridget Fonda role.
You thought you called
I really did.
You were like, oh, great, I'd love to play Melanie.
I expected to play a hoe again, you know.
Sure.
So I said, well, he said, what do you think? I said, it's really breathtaking. It's fantastic. It's so rich, you know. And it was, a lot of pages were cut out on direction on scripts, you know, because sometimes direction of the scene and the props and everything going on, it cuts out, and it makes a script longer when it really isn't. And I said, it's really fantastic. And I said, so I really like the Bridget. It was the Melanie role. And he says, well, you're not Melanie. And I'm like, okay. She says, you're Jackie Brown. He says, this is my Foxy Brown. And he says, and don't tell anyone, it's my female side of the brain. And I wrote this for you. And I just started crying. Tears just, And he says, and we're starting in a few weeks, and 10-week shoot, and we're going to move you out to California. We're going to I'm like, and I said, who is this? Who is this? Are you faking? He says, no, it really is. And we're going to do it, and you're Jackie Brown, and I've got some surprises for you. And I said, I bet you do. So it was Sid Haig playing the judge across from 110th Street, because when I first came out to L.A., I backed up Bobby Womack. I know you want to talk about that story. I could tell.
No.
You fix your mouth to talk about it. I know. Yes, when I came out, I sang background for Bobby Womack. He sent me to CBS Studios to support another friend of his who needed some backup singers. It happened to be Wonder Love for Stevie Wonder's backup singers, Minnie Riperton, Denise Williams, Sarita Wright, and Lonnie Groves, and I was backing up Sylvester Stone, Sly and the Family Stone, and I didn't know that. And then walked up at the middle of the night, came in Jimi Hendrix. And Sly pulled out a salad bowl of cocaine. It was time to leave. And they asked me, I could play organ. They asked me to sing. And this was my first week in Hollywood. Anyway, back to another story. And this is hopefully, y'all exhausted, aren't you? Well, exhausted me. I drink wine now a lot. That's why I want to live here. But anyway, so, yeah, y'all live in a good place. Art and wine, but the vibe is so cool here. The vibe is so cool. But anyway, with Quentin bringing all these surprises to the film, but I feel that if I hadn't done theater, 4 years of nothing but theater, Sam Shepard's Fool for Love, which was 90 minutes and no intermission, then Frank and Johnny the Clair de Lune, and then I worked for the Crossroads Theater, which is formerly the Negro Ensemble Theater that moved to New Jersey. I had seen Soldiers play, and Roger Roberts and Pam said, Pam, you need to do the boards. You really need to do theater, because you have that grit, that intensity. And I followed up on it, and I realized by doing theater, Quentin had, through the pipeline, said, I know I want to work with her. I know, because she'll give me what I need. And not everyone rehearses, and Quentin doesn't want to work with everyone. You have to have something that's really edgy, and after he did, a due diligence on me, if you will, he felt that, that I was the right actor to play her, and I didn't want to let him down as well.
You didn't.
Look, I'm working with Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He should have gotten an Oscar for that. He was brilliant.
And Sam Jackson and Robert Forster. I mean, these are, and I don't say this lightly, because I love 6 or 7 Quentin Tarantino movies, but this is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Thank you so much.
And again, people have an opportunity to stay here and watch it. I have about 57 more things that I want to talk to you about, but I think we've been talking for like an hour.
Well, yeah.
So
there's more. There's more. When you have 50 years,
yeah.
Now I'm 68. I'm 68 now, and so I'll be 69. But I really like using my age. I really like using, matter of fact, I've asked to, be gray in shows, and, they don't want you to. And I idolize Judi Dench in her gray. Victoria and Abdul, come on now. and Helen Mirren. And right now I'm reading a script to work with Diane Keaton.
Before we...
And I asked them, how gray can I be? Can I please be gray? For once, I'm tired of dyeing my hair. It might, it's so nappy. It's just, y'all know what it is like.
So, we definitely, but you mentioned it before, we have to go, but in a minute, can you tell them, you mentioned Jamie Foxx and Jay Farrow playing Richard Pryor. I mean, the people you've dated, that's a whole, we're not talking about it. But
I'll come back. I want to have my films in your festival, if that's how I come back here.
I mean, just Freddie Prinze, Richard Pryor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, it's not a big deal. But so Jay Farrow going to play Richard Pryor, and hopefully Jamie Foxx play your grandfather. Your story is in production to be a feature film, the Pam Grier story.
Yes.
Well, so as we wrap this up, spend 72 seconds telling them what that's going to be.
Well, we don't know because we still have to look, as you know, for someone who could handle the issues that I had to survive. And not every actress, because I've had to turn down roles where I couldn't revisit an attack. And many actresses can't. For example, quickly within that 72 seconds, there was an actress who was hired to be Jennifer Beals' lover in The L Word, and it all sounded great, hit show. Was hired, had the fitting, came up there, and during ready to shoot rehearsal, she couldn't kiss Jennifer because it made her uncomfortable, and she thought her family would ostracize her for playing a lesbian. So she couldn't kiss another woman. And so not all actors can, live, create cultures that the culture's opposed to certain situations, circumstances, society, and not all actresses can play, revisit a rape or an attack. When I did a scene with Philip Michael Thomas in Miami Vice, it was a love scene. He was playing with me. He put my hands down. He was on top of me, and he held them down, and I started to freak out because I regressed to this little girl in the striped shirt on top of my face, and I started to have a panic attack, and I said, "You can't hold my arms down. You can't hold my arms down. I can't do this. I can't do this scene, Philip, because I was attacked." And so he understood. We did it. We shot it with Michael Mann a different way, but I was actually physically ill because I could not go back to that. So not all actresses can play that. We don't know who can and who can bring it. So when you see certain actresses that don't work a lot, it's because sometimes certain roles they can't revisit because of their own personal life. So they're within 72.
Well, the challenge for them will be to find an actress to play Pam Grier as good as Pam Grier. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Grier.
I'm exhausted. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for...
Great, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You are so lovely for this wonderful invitation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you can't have it, but I'll be back to get another one.
Just a quick reminder, the movie will be playing in about 5 minutes, so take a short break if you're going to stay and watch Jackie Brown. There's also a party happening just down the street in Mission Plaza. For those of you with full access passes, we'll see you there. And thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow for closing day and night of the film festival. Thanks for being here tonight.